Howdy YouTube, I just wanted to make this video to give you my thoughts on the new Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie. This movie is going to contain some spoilers, nothing major or world ending, but I will be talking about the film, so if you don't want anything ruined for you whatsoever, then probably skip to the very end, or don't do that, keep watching. I'll try and keep it as low down as I can. So, what were my thoughts in the movie? Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun movie, mainly because of the cast. The casting in this movie, I think, is some of the best casting in recent memory for a superhero movie. And again, Ben Affleck as Batman, I think he's my favorite Batman of all time. He was brilliant in this movie. I really cannot fault Batman in the film. I think he was excellent. They set him up really well. The film was great. Watching the trailers beforehand, I don't think spoiled all that much. If I'm honest, a lot of the stuff they showed was stuff that occurred early on in the movie. And that didn't really bother me. I mean, Doomsday obviously is in the film, as you see in the trailer. And a lot of people were criticizing his appearance. We'll get to Doomsday a little bit later on in the review. We'll start with Batman. Batman with Ben Affleck, I think he just did a really great job. Yes, he was an older Batman, but he was still boss. He was really tank. The scenes where he's training, how they built him up to have that hatred of Superman, I think was really good. The opening of the film, I love the opening credits where it's like Bruce Wayne and his family walking, and it's got the really dramatic music, and his parents unfortunately get brutally murdered. I thought that was really well done. It set the film up nice. They told you at the start, with obviously Bruce's mum Martha, her name plays a big part later on in the film, but I thought that was excellent. They planted the seeds early on, and then throughout the film they've constantly got all these little references that are making Batman paranoid and feeding really this hatred for Superman. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I thought he was good, to be honest. If you said to me, though, I thought he was a good Lex. The best Lex of all time for me is in the TV show Smallville. That is my Lex Luthor and will always be my ideal Lex Luthor. Having said that, Jesse Eisenberg did a really good job. The only thing that I didn't like, there were two things overall in the Batman-Superman movie that I wasn't a fan of. One was the weird dream sequences of Batman. The actual sequences themselves were cool. Like, it was great to see Batman in a post-apocalyptic thing fighting, Superman goons and all that sort of stuff. I love that. That was cool. But I think they did it a little bit too much. And the one where it's a dream within a dream, and he wakes up, and then there's this Iron Man looking guy screaming at him. I was really confused by that, and I don't think that was necessary, to be honest. Now, maybe they're planting the seeds for future movies, but at this stage anyway, I wasn't sure. Now, it might make sense later down the track, but that really puzzled me. And the other thing I didn't like about the movie was Jesse Eisenberg's really quirky bits. Now, I know with a lot of people that are highly intelligent, they have, and I shouldn't generalize like this, but they don't have, the best social skills. And that's what they did with Lex. And I have no problem with that whatsoever, but I think he was too quirky. The bit where, just the little, things where he's, the red capes are coming and the ding dong, ding dong, ding dong at the end, just stupid things like that I didn't need in my Lex Luthor. Have him as this super intelligent guy, fine. And the plot was great. I think the plan that he had, Grandma's peach tea, for those that have seen the movie will know. Just little things like that, I think, were excellent additions to the film and had a really good storyline. So that brings me on to Superman. Henry Cavill as Superman, I love. I think he looks the part of a really cool Superman. I like what they did with him in the film. I like that the fight between Batman and Superman. I thought it was a good fight. I really did think that they balanced it quite well. They had, Batman going over But it's sort of the only reason he wins is because he takes away, Superman's powers, and that makes sense because Superman is Superman. You can't beat the guy. So I was happy with that. I had no issues with that, and was pretty happy with the fight overall. Wonder Woman, I think she was awesome. She looked really good. How they incorporated her, I think, was nice as well. And I'll quickly talk about Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, who I thought were going to be in the movie, and they're in it for like a 10-second preview that Lex has been investigating and things like that. So they weren't really in the movie. But it's nice that they sort of planted the seeds for the future. I think that was a good move rather than overloading this movie with too many characters, which you can argue it did, but for me, at least, it was to a manageable degree. Now, costumes. I love the costumes. The Batman costume, the Batmobile, the Batplane, the alternate Batman costume. I think they were all great. I really loved them. I loved what Lex was wearing. He was kind of like, the modern day, billionaire internet Zuckerberg type character, which is what essentially, I guess, Lex is supposed to be. So I had no problems with that. Superman, I thought his costume looked really cool as well. Wonder Woman obviously looked great. Doomsday. Now, Doomsday, a lot of people criticise saying he looked shit. I actually really liked Doomsday. Did he look exactly like he did in the comics? He kind of did, to be honest with you. The only thing that didn't is, and if you see the figure here, all the spike stuff on the side, but how they had him evolving, I think was brilliant. I thought that was really good. Now, I seen the movie with my girlfriend, and she loved the movie, but she didn't like Doomsday. She thought that he was, kind of pointless, and that they just sort of threw him in there and you didn't really need him. Yes, that's one argument. Personally, I liked him in it. I thought they did Doomsday really well. They've got him as, and spoiler, a Zod clone. So the appearance of the Zod clone means that Doomsday will reflect some of those facial features of Zod, and that's exactly what Doomsday does. So that didn't bother me because he looked like what that character in that movie was supposed to look like, if that makes sense. Then, obviously, he evolves as the fight progresses, and he incorporates, more of the bone aspect and the comic book Doomsday, which I think is one of the coolest looking DC characters of all time. So that was great. They built him up strong. They made him this really powerful, menacing force. It takes a lot of people to defeat him. So I thought they did Doomsday really well. He wasn't a, crappy boss by any means. He wasn't, I thought he was in there for a fair bit. I think it's, 15 minutes or so, which you can argue is not a lot of time. But how they did it, I think, made sense. It leaves it open to him possibly coming back as well because the Krypton ship is still there. So I had no problems with Doomsday. I actually quite liked Doomsday in the film and was really excited that we got to see a movie fight between Superman, Batman, and Doomsday. I think that was really good. Overall, did I like the movie? Yes. Star appearances for me, Alfred. Alfred was great in the movie. I don't know where that came from. The actor whose name I've had a mental blank on, but he's a really top actor. He stole the show a little bit, and I like that because normally Alfred, we get this like dweeby, nerdy, sort of guy, but in this film, Alfred is a real boss, and you see him preparing Batman's weapons or fixing the Batmobile and just doing all these sort of things. And for me, it's great because everyone, in real life, so to speak, looks up to their dad as a protector. And no matter, how much stronger you are than your dad or how much fitter you are than your dad or whatever, you always think that your dad will be able to protect you. And with the Batman-Alfred dynamic in this film, it's very much that. Alfred looks boss in that if Bruce Wayne was in trouble, he would ask Alfred to help him. And you would think Alfred would be capable of helping him, which you don't get in the other films. So I thought he was a great father figure, really boss. I loved the Batman-Alfred dynamic in this film. Overall, I thought it was a great film. I would watch it again. I am really excited for Suicide Squad. I'm excited to see what the DC Universe does with this franchise moving forward. Again, great costumes, great soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. They did reuse a lot of songs from Man of Steel, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I didn't mind that soundtrack, so I let it go a little bit, and we'll give them a pass on that one. Good story, good characters, good movie. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, hated it, let me know. Let's try and get a general consensus of whether the movie was a hit or a miss. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this review on the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie.